Xactimate can be a common language.
This guy is just an Xactimate apologist. Clipped and reclipped that to make the point all estimating platforms are communication platforms first and foremost. Oh.
You have entered the DYOJO Podcast. Cast.
This is a clip, a teaser from episode 111 of the DYOJO Podcast, where we introduce a simple formula for better construction estimates.
Xactimate can be a common language.
Okay, I mean, this is complete hogwash. So in the insurance world, for those who may not be aware, Xactimate estimates are written room by room, line by line. It's not a format that many contractors outside of the restoration space are familiar with, nor are customers. They're not used to seeing, 28 pages for a 2-room project.
I read about it in a book.
But who is familiar with that format? Oh, insurance companies.
Complicating the claim.
Who also has the money when it's a restoration insurance claims project? Oh, that's right, the insurance companies. So if they have the money and you want to work with them.
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
Or maybe you don't want to work with them, but you're working for a customer that's getting their money from them. Oh, perhaps it's helpful, before you want to pull all of your hair out, to think of Xactimate as a communication platform, more than it is just an estimating platform.
What am I supposed to do?
So let me explain. Xactimate estimates are built with a diagram or a sketch. There's actually a lot of really helpful calculations, scope notes, and different things that can be derived from this tool. Communication. If you are new to Xactimate, trying to learn Xactimate, trying to teach your team Xactimate, trying to refresh on Xactimate, or just have an overall better understanding, a while back we did a series, the Xactimate Sessions, episodes 65 through 79. And one of the videos there in particular on sketching, where do you start when training new restoration team members to sketch in Xactimate? We will have a link in the blog notes.
But that's a good place to start.
So Xactimate estimates also allow you to forward photos that are labeled in correlation to the rooms and the scope that you're going to be referring to in your estimate. A labeled photo helps prevent many unnecessary headaches. For example, a photo labeled Kitchen Cabinet Base Section 1 Face Damage, replace the box. Some people may say, that's way too many details, but it's much more helpful than image 1008 or cabinet broken. Communication. The adjuster can understand, claims rep can understand, the client can understand, the production team can understand. Subcontractors can understand. This is what this photo is telling me. Before you resort, as many do, to simply blaming the estimating tool, this guy is just an Xactimate apologist. Stop and think about your processes. Your processes. Does your team regularly create an estimate that the insurance company, the entity with the money, the customer, the entity with the pen, to sign the contract, and the production team, the ones who have to complete the work, all understand? Communication. If one or all of those parties don't understand the scope, you need to fix your estimating process. The estimate itself is a byproduct of a series of processes that start with client intake,
honest conversations,
a topic we've discussed on this podcast, episode 86. Site observations, inspection. Can I inspect your home? And the notes that go to the estimator, whether that's the same person inspects and estimates, or if there's a central estimator within the company, or perhaps remote estimating, Epic Estimates as an external resource. But the details, the data from the site has to be communicated thoroughly. Thorough data captured and communicated thoroughly to whoever is going to create the estimate. Communication, because it creates a series of following steps, which include The customer being able to understand what you're contracting for, what is and is not in your scope. If insurance is involved, that they understand what they are responsible for.
Predator.
Appropriate scope leads to accurate cost, accurate data input. And then when it gets down to the production team, it's very important that whoever's writing the estimate always thinks in mind of the production team as well. Clarity, consistency, and accountability, which is something that we go over in detail in our last book, How to Suck Less at Estimating. Habits for Better Project Outcomes by John Isaacson, the Intentional Restorer, is now available. This is a full color. It's got diagrams. This book is also a course available online through our friends at Restoration Technical Institute, rtilearning.com. This course has 6 modules which reflect the 6 chapters in this book. If you sign up for the course, you get a free PDF copy that is designed to correspond with the course, How to Suck Less at Estimating. This book is available on Amazon.
It's true.
If any of these topics hit home or seem to be helpful to yourself or your team, you may want to check that out. All of these are topics, again, that we discuss on episode 111 of the DYOJO Podcast, including Deep Thoughts for Construction Estimators. And our Deep Thoughts this week is brought to you by Norm Foster. This book first published in 1961, Construction Estimates from Takeoff to Bid. A good estimate is built around a good set of quantities and a proper feeling for costs. Career growth tips for Nicole Humber.
Invest in yourself. Do your research. Become an expert in the industry where it makes it impossible for anyone to put the lid over you.
Learning from Restoration History with Cliff Zlotnick.
People figure that they don't understand it. Therefore, the person who invented it's smarter than I am. Ask them to explain to you simply, how does it work? Imagine that I'm a 6-year-old. Explain it to me. And if these people cannot explain it to a 6-year-old, according to Albert Einstein, they don't understand it themselves.
3 critical elements of a construction project. So what does every project have in common? And what are the 3 questions ultimately we need to answer before we can put a solid price on something? A job always comes down to the agreed upon scope, the duration, and the cost. The importance of communication, which we've highlighted here. All estimates are data driven, and simplifying the estimating process. Communication. But to recap, we're doing the thorough data capture here on your property. Thorough data capture. We're going to do accurate data input, present that to the insurance company and you. Accurate data input. Communication. Some of you may be listening to this thinking, this guy clearly doesn't know his head from a hole in the ground.
This is not okay.
Clearly has never worked with the insurance company. Clearly has no idea what he's talking about. In the property restoration realm, obviously you're on the other side.
We're the bad guys.
That's right. The adjusters are the bad guys, aren't they? The best thing to do when things aren't going well is always to find someone to blame. Yeah, the bad guys, right?
We're the good guys, it depends on your point of view.
To the no.
To be clear, you can have the best documentation, the best processes, and it's still going to be a fight.
Accountability.
Take insurance out of it, even when you're dealing with the public, dealing directly with customers for remodel and repair projects. That's still the case. You have to clarify your scope, justify it, communicate it, negotiate it, if you will. And then if it does become a contract, then you also have to be able to execute it. So it's very important to have clarity throughout that whole process. If you have any questions about our bid, we'll answer those. Or if the carrier has any questions, and tell us which line items they feel are not supported by the documentation via the sketch, the labeled photos, and the copious amounts of F9 notes, scope notes that we have in our estimate. You'll see, very, very detailed. We do it structured, so it's easy to read, as easy to read as possible.
The simpler, the better, or the more understood, the better.
You have entered the DYOJO Podcast. Cast.